The movie begins, and we see a man returning home to find that the room is strangely messed up and there are signs that someone has been moving around in the room. The man thinks there was a thief in the house, but when he goes toward the window to make sure, suddenly a mysterious and frightening person appears behind him. The man feels that something is wrong, turns around, and hits the mysterious man behind him, but he doesn't feel anything, and the mysterious man launches a counterattack. He is strong and fast, easily knocking the man down and biting him on the neck, with bags of pus appearing on the neck of the person who was bitten, causing him to die instantly. However, the mysterious man does not walk away, and his body begins to disintegrate, eventually turning into a rotten corpse. After a while, a police report comes in, and they go to investigate the crime scene, but the strange thing is that the killer who was at the crime scene had clearly died 2.5 months ago. However, the corpse came back to life to kill people, which made the officers scared and very anxious about how he came back to life and why he is killing this man, and they didn't know any reason. Suddenly, a call comes to Jin-hee, who was doing a live interview with the mysterious man. He said he is the real killer and set up a live meeting with her the next day at 2:30 p.m. at a specific location. When the police hear this news, they decide not to miss the perfect opportunity to catch the killer. Under the leadership of Sung-joon, Jin-hee's boss, the police have a large number of officers. They go to the meeting location and prepare to arrest the killer. The next day, the killer arrives as expected, and after a short while, the interview begins. The man answers all the questions that Jin-hee asks without backing away. Not only does he reveal his name and ID card, but he also reveals that he was performing a spell and manipulating corpses and that he committed a murder spree the previous night. Jin-hee cannot believe this ridiculous thing, like manipulating corpses to kill, but the man tells her that she will believe it soon. The purpose of his interview is to give a final warning and that in the coming few days, he will carry out 3 more murders. He provides details about the locations, times, and the people he will kill. They are all executive directors of the Sishi Pharmaceuticals Company, specifically Director Min Sup, Executive Director Sang-eun, and Chairman Song-el. There is a way to prevent this from happening, which is for Song-el to issue a public apology and let Jin-hee decide whether it is genuine or not, and it will be broadcasted live across the entire network. As soon as he finishes speaking, he pulls a dagger from his clothes and takes Jin-hee hostage, trying to take the opportunity to leave the place. When they reach the first-floor corridor, Jin-hee sees a mark on the man's arm, and then the same killer from the beginning begins to have his body eat away at ease and turns into a corpse. They realize it was just a game and that they were being manipulated. They ask what the origin of this strange spell is and why he is targeting these company executives. Based on these 2 questions, the police quickly open an investigation. First, they learn that the spell, which can manipulate corpses, was a type of dark magic. The unique signs and Indonesian writing on the corpse indicate that this magic came from Indonesia. It involves combining dirt near the corpse with the blood of the victim, allowing them to manipulate the corpse. At this time, Sung-joon leads his men to the upper management of Sishi Pharmaceuticals to understand the reason behind the killer's revenge against the company. It has been 6 experiments. As the murder date approaches, the police deploy a number of special forces to the Sishi Pharmaceuticals building to protect the threatened people. They think they are now safe, but as the time approaches, the planned murders begin as scheduled. Jin-hee is doing a live broadcast on the ground floor and sees a zombie dressed in a gray robe appear directly in front of her. Then, more zombies in official uniforms gather in the courtyard on the ground floor. They were all killed in the experiments and manipulated by the killer for revenge. Their sole purpose is to kill the executives, with the first target being Min Sup. She sees the special forces and starts to take a firm stance, with marks appearing on their hands. The zombie army begins to move. They are agile, targeted, and ignore civilians and the armed forces. In an instant, they breach the defenses and enter the building like a wave. On the upper floor, Min Sup stands and is shocked when he sees this scene. The only solution in front of the police is to open fire to stop them. However, the bullets hit the zombies, but they are unaffected because they fall to the ground and get up again immediately, running toward the stairs. The police cannot do anything except turn off the building lights to stop the zombies from the building and attempt to escape Min Sup through the emergency elevator. But at that moment, when the elevator doors close, the zombies are already in front of it, moving quickly because they have ascended all the floors. They see the zombie Min Sup escaping the building and realize they have a direct and faster way to get down to the ground floor. They start to jump one after another. They are not greatly affected and get up quickly. After a while, the executive director arrives with the police at the underground garage, and the zombies rush in, exiting through the stairwell. In this critical moment, Jin-hee gets into her car and crashes into them to allow the others to escape, but what she did not expect was that the zombies can also drive. They get into cars and start a fierce chase on the highway, using suicide zombies in an attempt to stop them. However, they are lucky because Sung Jun's driving skills are excellent. He enters a tunnel and uses the zombie encirclement technique directly in the middle of the road, stopping Sung Jun. The zombies get out of the car and begin to attack the vehicle, quickly shattering the windshield under the violent zombie assault. The zombies seize the opportunity to break the window and enter the car, and Sung Jun starts firing, but they do not know how to get rid of them. After much resistance, Sung Jun's car manages to eliminate a large number of zombies, but the only one left is attacking the driver. Then they exit the tunnel, but the driver stops because he has been infected by the virus, and the zombies gather around them again. According to the killer's plan, they only want to kill Min Sup. They manage to pull him out of the car and kill him. After finishing, they look at the executive director Sang-in as if telling him he is the second target. The zombies then disappear and fall to their knees in place, and during the fight against the zombies, Sung Jun is captured by the zombies and injured. However, the infection is not particularly severe, and at the hospital, Sang-in receives treatment after the incident, knowing that what is coming. Therefore, he approaches Song-el, the chairman of the board, hoping that he will issue an apology in accordance with the killer's demands. However, Song-el immediately refuses because this is the foundation of the company's future. When Sung Jun sees that Sang-in is scared, he says he will discuss the matter with his daughter Mi-young. Sung Jun has no choice but to leave, and when he reaches the door, he meets Mi-young, who has returned. At that moment, Sung Jun realizes that the company is now under her control, not his father's. The clinical experiment was planned by Mi-young to earn more money, and the police are still searching for the real killer. However, this time, the prisoner provides new evidence, saying that after the death of the people infected close to him, an elderly Indonesian man came and told him that his daughter had disappeared. This was after she worked part-time at Soci Pharmaceuticals, but later the prisoner was responsible for recruiting people, and they were targeted, but what happened to him afterwards was unclear. Therefore, the prisoner gives him the number of the person he is dealing with at Soci Pharmaceuticals, and then that person disappears with 100 corpses. According to the investigation, it becomes clear that the elderly Indonesian man was the one who did this, and they must find him to end it all. At this time, Sang-in goes to them and confesses everything he knows for his life. It is clear that the experiment was not to create a new drug to save lives but was a biochemical research to kill people, which happened unexpectedly. Sang-in hands over the list of criminals, hoping that the police will end it soon. Shortly after Sang-in leaves, Jin-hee suddenly thinks about the problem because the spell requires soil from the place of death. These criminals died at the former Soci Pharmaceuticals Institute, so the elderly Indonesian man must have been there. Thinking this, the team sets off, and due to the experiment incident, the institute has been abandoned for a long time. After thorough and precise searching, they find a strange scene in a room. The walls of this room were covered with various frightening patterns, unbelievable, and possibly related to corpse manipulation. When both are being questioned, they suddenly hear an unusual noise and run toward the sound. While walking, Jin-hee discovers that something is wrong. However, the matter does not end here, and a zombie follows them. The two escape far away, but the zombie is very fast. The zombie attacks Young-soo and grabs Jin-hee by the neck. In the last moment, a person runs in and saves her, Jin-hee's sister, Soo-jin. She is like the elderly Indonesian man and is a teacher, but spirits haunt Soo-jin, so she went to Japan to exorcise them. She danced in Japan for 2.5 years, but when that did not work, she went to a temple in China and was directed by a great monk, but she still couldn't find a way to exorcise them. However, she learned to manipulate evil spirits and, by mistake, perfected the spells. When she sensed that her sister was in danger, she came to save her. Jin-hee touches the zombie's cheek with her hands, and his body begins to twist. Since the zombies are behind them, the three start to escape. Before the zombies can catch them, they hide in the laboratory, and Jin-hee takes out her special brush, calms down, and draws a sigil on the ground in seconds using her blood-soaked fingers. She presses the ground, and a hidden wall appears, but Young-soo, who is resisting the zombies, has no time to enter. When he finds that the zombies are about to break through the door, he hides under a table. The zombies come, but they do not find the sisters. Instead, they find Young-soo. Jin-hee takes a risk and comes out to save him. Although she is strong, they are numerous, and one of them grabs her. Young-soo tries to help but hits him, so Jin-hee intervenes, knocks the zombies down, and falls. Jin seizes the opportunity to touch the zombie's cheek and uses the same method to eliminate the last one. The three escape from the institute. The next day, Sang-in, who was under great pressure, chooses to commit suicide and agrees with Song-el to issue the public apology. However, he is not sincere, and it is just a routine apology, which is rejected because it will not stop the killings but make the killer angrier. At this time, the officer at the police station, after investigating the list of experimenters, finally finds the Indonesian man's daughter. He immediately sends the information to Jin-hee, who was doing a live apology broadcast. When Jin-hee receives the message, she is affected because this girl was her assistant, and a few days ago, Jin-hee conducted an interview with the girl who was being manipulated by the Indonesian man and became her assistant. On the other hand, the police intervene at the institute and search for the elderly man's hideout with the help of Soo-jin. The elderly man takes off his clothes and manipulates his daughter to interrogate Jin-hee. Regardless of Song-il's insincere apology, which makes the daughter's body, he goes to Song-il and tries to make the others stop him, but the man insists that Song-il pays with his life. Song-il and Mi-young run but stop halfway, and she slowly extends her hand, and her body begins to rot. In the opposite direction, Soo-jin crosses paths, and the elderly man's spell is cast in a critical moment, allowing Song-il to escape. At that moment, the elderly Indonesian man screams, and the ending does not occur because he failed to kill his enemy and obtain the simplest apology for his daughter's tragic death. However, the matter does not end here. Mi-young, the person who started everything, arrives at the room where her father was hiding and cannot believe that he escaped. However, her poisonous sister does not escape because she is the one killing him and eliminating all the witnesses to her crime. When the police arrive, she pretends to cry. Without knowing, the camera recorded everything because before the interview, a camera was mounted on Song-il's chest, and all of this was broadcast live. This means she confessed to everything, killed her father with her own hands, and the evidence is complete. She is immediately arrested, and everything the elderly Indonesian man did for his daughter ended in a perfect conclusion.